Hey guys, welcome to the Clubhouse. I'm Billy Jackson, and today's review is going to be on Aquaman. If you have not seen this movie, go see this movie. I was late to the game just because my buddy who goes and sees movies with me, our schedules couldn't make it because of the holidays and everything, but we finally got to see it today, and guys, it was a great New Year's present. This is a beautiful, well-directed, well-realized Aquaman movie. A fantasy. It felt like a fantasy movie to me, more than it did a comic book movie. But it was a perfect comic book fantasy movie, because that's what comic books are. They are fantasy, and that's what made this movie so great. They embraced it. Finally, the DCU has definitely embraced this new soft reboot of their DC universe. They need to make every one of their movies like this, at least the same tone, because they've been really darker and more serious, and I understand why, because that's how the DC comics are, so I get it. But if they would have done it well, it would have been perceived better, by fans and critics. But other than Man of Steel, and that was even divisive with people, but all their movies have been divisive. It's not like they had like 3 great ones and 1 divisive movie and then another 2 great ones. They just don't have a very good track record. But I'm going to tell you right now, this is the movie since Justice League. Guys, don't be deterred by what Justice League gave us, because I don't like Justice League. It's an okay movie. It's not as bad as everybody's wrecking it out to be, but I enjoyed it, but it's not the best of the DC movies. To me, Man of Steel is the best one, and Wonder Woman was right under that until Aquaman came out. Aquaman is it's better than Wonder Woman. So if you liked Wonder Woman or even loved Wonder Woman, you're going to like this movie even more than that. So just know that's how great this movie is. And this might be blasphemy, and when I walked out of the theater, I told my buddy, I was like, you know what this felt like? This felt like it was a DC Aquaman movie made by Marvel. And the color scheme, the tone, their jokes landed finally, and there weren't too many of them. I found myself giggling, and the audience loved this movie. My buddy loved this movie. They were clapping at the end of this movie like a round of applause from the audience. That's great. I'm glad to see comic movies doing that. That's good. And if you like adventure and stuff like that, it was fun. Not only was it a great, dazzling movie, and the visual effects were unbelievable, some of the CGI was wonky, but that's okay. A little bit is okay. It's not like the whole movie was like that, because they really did a great job with the effects in this movie. James Wan, good job, buddy. This felt like a James Wan movie, and he needs to make more comic book movies, because this felt fun and lived in, and the world felt real. Jason Momoa was a great Aquaman. Nicole Kidman plays his mother. Great performance by her, of course. she's A-list actress. But just the way they used her, she kicked ass in this movie. So I was happy about that, to see her whooping some dudes' butts. That was fun. But there's butt whooping throughout this whole entire movie, and that's another thing that made it fun. It was an action fantasy comic book movie. That's the only way I can really describe this movie to you. And the villain, Orm, who plays Ocean Master from the comic books, his brother, his half-brother, is great villain. Very well written and acted and directed. Great villain. And the other villain that I was really wanting to see in this movie, my most anticipated villain, was Black Manta. I love Black Manta from back in the Super Friends days, so I've always loved him as a villain, and I finally got to see him, and it felt like the real Manta from the cartoon and the comic books. It just felt, this movie felt like a real life cartoon, and gosh, it was so much fun. Just go and see this movie, guys. I know I was late on the game to see it, because you know, me and my buddy who go and see movies, you know, our schedules, we couldn't work them out over the holidays. So we finally got to see it today, and finally was able to bring you videos. Sorry I was for the delay, but hey, just didn't work out, but it did today. And thank goodness, it was a great way to open up the new year. So guys, go and see this movie. If you haven't, go take your kids. It's fun. They'll love it. You will love it. Go and see it. What's my rating? I want to give it a 10. I'm serious. I can't believe I'm saying Aquaman is going to get a 10, but he's not. This movie is a little long, so be prepared to be there for over 2 hours. You know, it's like 2:15. It felt like I don't really know. We went. The movie started at 1:15, and including trailers and everything, we got out at 4. So it was a good over 2 hours. So I felt like they could have cut out some of the National Treasure, Indiana Jones type. You know, they're searching for this artifact thing. I think they could have done without that. But I understand they were trying to build a relationship between him and Mira. So I understand it. I just felt like they could have cut that out, condensed this movie down a little bit better, and it would have been a 10 for me. So, but other than that, some of the jokes not landing, some of the cheesiness, but it had great cheesiness, and it had a little bit of bad cheesiness, but just enough cheese to where it was enjoyable. And that's what's going to the movies is all about, is enjoying your experience. So that being said, I'm giving it a 9. All right. Woo! Aquaman got a 9 out of me. Man, that's great. So, what do you think about Aquaman? Have you seen it? Do you plan on seeing it? Let me know in the comments below. Hey, and remember guys, Happy New Year. I didn't do a Happy New Year video this year, you know, because I didn't have time. But hey, I'm saying it now. Happy New Year, guys. It's great to open up with such a great movie, and I was able to give you my first movie of the new year being a great one at a 9. So, let me know in the comments below what you think of Aquaman, and remember to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. And as always, make yourself happy every day, and the only way to do that is to remember, the only thing stopping you is you stopping. Bam!